Chosen one. Pause for a moment and let the world around you fall silent. Because something sacred is unfolding around you right now. You can feel it, a pressure in the atmosphere, a shift in your spirit, a pull that refuses to let you ignore this moment. It is not coincidence. It is not chance. This is divine interception. Heaven has leaned in close, and the message arriving to you now is intentional. You are not merely listening, you are being summoned. From your earliest memories, something about you has always been different. While others blended into the background, you carried a quiet glow you couldn't explain. While others followed the crowd, you walked pathways that made no sense to those around you. You endured storms that would have crushed ordinary people, yet somehow you remained standing. You faced betrayal that could have broken your soul, yet found yourself rising again with deeper discernment. You learned to smile in rooms that misunderstood you, to stand tall in circumstances designed to shrink you. Chosen one. These were not coincidences. These were marking signs of someone under divine observation. You have walked through valleys where no one held your hand, but someone always walked beside you. Even when you thought you were forgotten, heaven was paying attention. Even when people overlooked your worth, heaven documented every quiet victory, every courageous decision, every moment you refused to surrender to darkness. The truth is this: your life has never been unobserved. There are eyes holy, ancient, unblinking, that have been watching you with intention, not watching to judge, but to guide, not watching to condemn, but to protect, not watching to expose your weakness, but to study your strength. Because even when you doubted yourself, heaven never doubted you. Chosen one. The atmosphere around you has shifted because your season has shifted. You are now entering a phase where the watching intensifies. You can feel the weight of attention increasing, not just spiritually, but even physically. People stare longer. Situations move differently around you. Enemies, hesitate. Opportunities seem to sense your presence before you arrive. Your light is becoming harder to hide, and your calling is becoming harder to run from. Heaven has placed a spotlight on you, and the world is about to notice what heaven has known all along. And before you question it, know, it is not your imagination. Yes, the pressure you feel is real. Yes, the signs around you are intentional. Yes, the sudden awareness of being seen, being sensed, being spiritually monitored is divine. You have stepped into a moment your soul has been preparing for your entire life. You feel it like a pulse beneath your ribs, a spiritual vibration urging you not to ignore what is unfolding. The veil is thinning around you, intuition sharpens, timing accelerates, and divine alignment becomes impossible to dismiss. You are stepping into clarity, authority, and unmistakable divine recognition. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 3, verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. Let that truth settle deeply into you. The eyes of heaven have never left you, not once, not for a moment. Through every betrayal, those eyes watched you choose forgiveness. Through every heartbreak, those eyes witnessed you choose hope. Through every dark season, those eyes saw you continue walking toward the light. Through every spiritual attack, those eyes tracked your courage. your resilience, your determination to rise again. That is why you survived what others didn't. That is why you healed from wounds meant to destroy you. That is why your spirit kept fighting, even when your body was exhausted. That is why darkness feared you long before you knew your own strength. Heaven watched. Heaven guarded. Heaven recorded. Heaven prepared. And now, heaven reveals. Chosen one. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to question your worth. This is the time to recognize that you are stepping into visibility spiritually, energetically, and divinely. You are rising into a version of yourself that heaven has been shaping in secret for years. If something inside you feels awakened right now, if your spirit is responding, then you already know this message is for you. Before you continue, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, not as routine actions, but as a prophetic agreement that you are ready for what is unfolding in your life. And to seal this moment spiritually, comment 111, a declaration that you recognize heaven's gaze and you align with the calling placed upon your life. You move forward from that awakening moment, chosen one, carrying the echo of heaven's gaze still warm across your spirit. And as you step deeper into this unfolding revelation, another truth begins rising within you. One you have felt your entire life but never had language for. You were marked long before you understood what the mark meant. There were signs woven into your childhood, moments that didn't make sense at the time, but now click into place like pieces of a divine puzzle. You weren't shaped by coincidence. You were sculpted by intention, even before you could speak. Your presence disrupted atmospheres. You were the child who felt everything deeply, the pain in a room, the unspoken tension, the hidden motives. You carried sensitivity that others mocked or misunderstood. But heaven recognized it as part of your spiritual wiring. You weren't weak. You were tuned. You weren't overly emotional. You were spiritually aware before you even knew what spirituality was. You remember moments where you felt disconnected from the world around you, as if you were watching life happen from a slight distance. You didn't fit into the molds others tried to press you into. You questioned things most people accepted blindly. You sensed truths you had never been taught. Even then, the mark of your calling was showing itself. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Those words are not poetic metaphors for you. They are your blueprint. Long before your name was spoken on earth, it was spoken in heaven. Long before your parents planned for you, heaven prepared you. And long before life tested you, heaven equipped you. This is why your journey has been different. This is why your path has been narrow. This is why your battles have been intense. Because marked ones do not walk easy roads. From early on, you may have felt like you lived on the outside of circles, never quite fitting, never fully belonging. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. Every door that closed in your childhood was designed to protect your identity from being shaped by the wrong environments. Heaven kept you different because blending in would have suffocated your purpose. The mark on your life also made you stand out to darkness. Even as a child, you attracted spiritual resistance you didn't know how to explain. Night terrors, heavy atmospheres, unexplainable fear, sensitivity to chaos. These weren't random. You were noticed. Chosen children often experience spiritual turbulence before they even understand what spiritual warfare is. Because darkness can sense destiny long before humans do. But you also carried an inner resilience that didn't make sense for your age. You endured things you shouldn't have survived. You carried burdens too heavy for your small shoulders. Yet you grew stronger under the weight. Even when you broke, you healed in ways that defied logic. Even when you were wounded, something in you refused to turn bitter. You were being shaped, refined, tested, and tempered like a blade meant for divine use. And there were moments of inexplicable protection, weren't there? Moments where danger came close but could not touch you. Moments where wrong paths somehow never opened for you. Moments where you escaped situations you had no idea were deadly. You didn't realize it then. But heaven was guarding the mark on your life. You were never meant to grow like everyone else. You were being trained. Every season of isolation strengthened your discernment. Every season of misunderstanding sharpened your identity. Every season of hardship unlocked deeper levels of compassion. Heaven does not waste the childhood of a chosen vessel. And now, as you stand here wiser, stronger, more awake, you are beginning to understand why everything that happened. The mark on your life has always separated you. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. You were crafted to carry influence that requires a purified spirit. You were shaped to carry a calling that requires courage, resilience, and clarity. This is why you often sensed your purpose even before you could define it. You carried dreams that felt too big for the world around you. You felt destiny whispering to you in moments of quiet, long before you had the vocabulary to understand its language. Even your intuition was a sign you saw through deception before you even knew what deception was. Chosen one. You are now awakening to your own origin story. You are realizing that nothing about you is accidental, not your personality, not your pain, not your gifts, not your struggles. Everything has been part of the shaping of someone heaven marked before time. The more you understand this truth, the more every chapter of your life begins to make sense. You were known. You were chosen. You were set apart. And now, you are remembering. You move forward now. Chosen one. Carrying the weight of revelation, settling deeper into your spirit. As the truth of your divine marking awakens inside you, something else begins to stir, a growing awareness that you have never walked alone. Not for a single moment. There has always been a presence observing, guiding, studying, and guarding every step you take. And as this realization intensifies, you begin to understand that the one watching you is not watching out of distance, but out of deep divine intention. There are moments in your life when you paused mid-movement because you felt watched, moments where the atmosphere shifted, where silence grew heavy, where something unseen pressed against the edges of your awareness. You brushed it off, thinking it was anxiety or imagination. But now you know better. Your spirit was detecting what your mind could not yet name. You have been monitored by more than human eyes. From the very first steps you took, your path has been supervised by a presence who understood your calling before you could ever grasp it. The times you wandered off course, the times you stepped into danger without realizing it, the times your heart was fragile and your spirit was weary, there was a gaze fixed upon you, following every movement with a precision that no earthly watcher could ever match. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, The Book of Psalms, chapter 1, 139, verse 3. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Let those ancient words settle into the deepest part of your being. This is not distant observation. This is intimate attention. The one watching you is not trying to catch you in mistakes, nor waiting for you to fall. The one watching you is studying your heart, guarding your footsteps, and silently redirecting you away from paths that were never meant to claim you. You were never unnoticed. You were deeply, intentionally seen. Think back to those moments where you took a wrong turn in life, relationships that should have ruined you, opportunities that looked promising but were traps, environments that seemed harmless but carried hidden dangers. Somehow, something always pushed you out just in time. You weren't lucky. You were covered. There is a difference. You might remember walking into places that suddenly felt heavy, as if an invisible wall stood between you and harm. That wasn't fear. That was divine surveillance pulling you back. You recall times when conversations felt off, where your spirit recoiled, even when your mind didn't understand why. That wasn't overthinking. That was discernment being activated by the one watching over you. Chosen one. You haven't just been seen, you've been studied. Not by darkness, not by the world, but by heaven itself. The presence observing you has watched you grow through storms, watched you heal wounds no one knew about, watched you break, then rise stronger, watched you soften instead of harden, watched you love even when unloved, watched you forgive what you had every right to resent. Heaven has taken note of every choice you made, in secret choices that revealed more about your character than your achievements ever could. This is why your footsteps have been redirected again and again. This is why certain doors refused to open. This is why certain people were removed without explanation. This is why some paths felt impossible to walk. You weren't being blocked, you were being protected. The unseen observer has been ordering your steps with more precision than you ever realized. And if you look closely at your life, you'll notice a pattern. Every time you moved too fast, something slowed you. Every time you strayed too far, something pulled you back. Every time you doubted your worth, something whispered truth into your spirit. Every time you broke, something held the pieces together. That something has a name, but the revelation of that name is for later. For now, you are being prepared to acknowledge what your soul already knows. Nothing about your journey has been accidental. Nothing about your survival has been random. You have been guided through every valley, monitored through every storm, and watched through every transformation you've undergone. And the more awakened you become, the more aware you grow of that watchful presence. You sense it now not as fear, but as reassurance, not as pressure, but as comfort, not as a threat, but as a promise. The unseen observer is not distant. The observer is close, intentional, and deeply invested in the unfolding of your destiny. If your spirit is resonating, if you can feel that gentle nudge inside, confirming you have always been watched with purpose, then seal this moment by commenting, "I see," not because I need the words, but because declaring them helps your spirit agree with the truth rising inside you. You move from the awareness of the unseen observer into a deeper layer of revelation. Chosen one, a layer that explains the part of your life few people ever understood. If heaven has been watching you, then so has something else. And this is where the truth begins to sting. Not with fear, but with clarity. Your light did not go unnoticed by darkness. From childhood, you carried an inner radiance, subtle yet undeniable. Even before you knew the word anointing, you were walking in it. Even before you understood purpose, purpose was shaping you. But what you didn't know then was that darkness recognizes destiny before humans do. And so, the opposition you faced was not random misfortune, it was targeted. Look back at your earliest years. Think about the heaviness that crept into your room at night. The inexplicable anxiety that wrapped around you without warning. The sudden waves of fear you couldn't explain. Those weren't childish imaginations. They were early attempts to suffocate your calling before it fully awakened. Many children never recover from such early battles. But you did. You stood. You survived. You grew. And darkness noticed. From the very beginning, you were exposed to storms that didn't match your age. You faced emotional warfare when you should have been carefree. You battled insecurity, loneliness, or rejection, long before you had the mental tools to process them. Not because you were weak, but because the enemy sensed the mark on your life. Heaven speaks clearly through the writings of Paul in the letter to the Ephesians. Chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. You weren't fighting people. You were fighting what influenced them. This is why certain individuals, even those who should have loved you, reacted to you in ways that felt disproportionate, confusing, or cruel. Something in your presence exposed the shadows inside them. Even as a child, your spirit irritated what was broken in others. Not because you did anything wrong, but because light provokes what hides in darkness. Your life has been marked by invisible tensions, moments where something pushed against you, pressed on your emotions, or whispered lies into your mind. Darkness tried to break you through isolation. It tried to discourage you through circumstances. It tried to distract you with temptations or counterfeit connections. It tried to silence you with fear. Why? Because you were dangerous long before you knew it. You carried a spiritual frequency that disrupted demonic assignments. You carried discernment that threatened manipulation. You carried destiny that intimidated anything trying to stop it. You carried potential that the enemy hoped to suffocate before it matured. That's why certain battles made no sense. That's why certain wounds cut deeper than they should have. That's why the pressure in your life felt heavier than what others around you experienced. Your spirit was wrestling with forces you couldn't see, but forces that absolutely saw you. Even as you walked through life unaware of these battles, the shadows trailing you were aware. They studied your habits, your weaknesses, your fears, your desires. Darkness rarely attacks without strategy, and your life, chosen one, required strategy, not because you were fragile, but because heaven destined you to disrupt every assignment aimed at your generation. And yet, every attempt to destroy you only sharpened you. Every spiritual strike strengthened your resilience. Every season of heaviness built endurance. Every tear cleansed your vision. Every betrayal expanded your discernment. You were being trained through warfare. This is why you outgrew certain people faster than they expected. This is why you developed intuition that senses danger before it arrives. This is why you see through deception within seconds. You were forged in battles most people never knew you were fighting. Darkness tried to suffocate your potential, but all it did was awaken it. There were times when you felt spiritually oppressed, a heaviness, a tightness, an unseen pressure weighing on your chest. Times when your dreams carried strange, unsettling imagery. Times when sleep wouldn't come, or came with unrest. You weren't imagining these things. You were being spiritually targeted. But even then, you were not alone. The unseen observer from the previous chapter watched every clash. Heaven monitored every push from darkness, and your spirit was being strengthened under divine supervision. The attacks you faced were not signs of weakness. They were confirmations of identity. Darkness doesn't waste energy on the unchosen. It pursues the marked, the rising, the dangerous, the destined, and you have always been all for. And now, as your awareness expands, you finally understand that you weren't fighting random storms. You were living through spiritual warfare designed to stop what heaven placed inside you. But you're still here. You're still rising. And that alone is proof that darkness failed. You step forward, chosen one, carrying the weight of every battle you've survived and every revelation that has awakened inside you. And as you emerge from the shadows of spiritual warfare into the unfolding of your purpose, something begins to happen around you, something subtle yet unmistakable. People begin to look at you differently. Eyes shift toward you. Conversations change when you enter the room. Atmospheres adjust themselves around your presence. At first, you may think you're imagining it, but you're not. This attention is not ego. It is not coincidence. It is the natural effect of a rising anointing. When a lantern is lit in a dark valley, all eyes turn toward its glow, some for warmth, some for direction, and others because the light exposes what they hoped would remain hidden. Your life is that lantern now, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Ember and you, chosen one, have been lifted to higher ground, not by pride, not by ambition, but by clarity. Think of a lighthouse on a stormy night. Ships turn toward it instinctively, not because the lighthouse seeks attention, but because its height and its glow make it impossible to ignore. Similarly, your presence has become a point of spiritual orientation for the people around you. Your endurance inspires. Your resilience challenges. Your growth exposes. Your light reveals. But visibility comes with weight. You may have noticed people trying to imitate you, compete with you, or criticize you without cause. Not because you have done anything wrong, but because standing in the presence of someone who carries purpose feels like standing in front of a mirror, one that reflects truths people aren't always ready to face. You may also feel the pressure of expectations, spoken or unspoken. People expect you to be strong because you've survived so much. They expect you to have answers because you carry wisdom. They expect you to lead because you naturally illuminate whatever space you enter. But remember, a candle never apologizes for burning. A sunrise never apologizes for rising. And a tree never apologizes for growing taller than the weeds around it. Likewise, you owe no apology for the glow you carry. But with this new visibility comes a calling to step into deeper authenticity. Your light touches others, not just through your victories, but through your vulnerability, your honesty, your willingness to be real in a world obsessed with pretending. People are watching not to judge you, but to understand how someone like you keeps rising. And as they watch, many of them grow, many of them heal, many of them awaken. Your influence is no longer accidental. It is purposeful. This is why your voice matters now more than ever, why your presence shifts atmospheres, why your story touches those who hear it. You are becoming a beacon, one that guides others who are still lost in the fog you once wandered through. Yet, even beacons need fuel. A lighthouse cannot shine without oil. A fire cannot burn without oxygen. A warrior cannot stand without support. And you, chosen one, are not different. So, as you rise in visibility, remember the importance of community, of connection, of shared energy and shared strength. The journey you're on may be divine, but it was never meant to be walked alone. That is why, if this message resonates with your spirit, if it strengthens you, awakens you, or gives language to what you've been feeling, then let your engagement be part of the fuel that keeps this light shining. Your like is a spark. Your share is a flame passed forward. Your subscription is a stone added to the foundation of this growing lighthouse. And your donation, should you feel led, is water drawn from your own well to keep this ministry alive, expanding, and reaching the souls who need it most, not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but out of alignment. When you support a source of light, you become part of the illumination. Think of it like tending a garden. When you water the soil that feeds you, the entire field grows. But with this new visibility comes a calling to step into deeper authenticity. Your light touches others, not just through your victories, but through your vulnerability, your honesty, your willingness to be real in a world obsessed with pretending. People are watching not to judge you, but to understand how someone like you keeps rising. And as they watch, many of them grow, many of them heal, many of them awaken. Your influence is no longer accidental. It is purposeful. Let them wonder. Let them learn from the way your life glows. Because your upward journey has only just begun. You step deeper now into the unfolding awareness of who you truly are. Chosen one. The eyes on you, both earthly and spiritual, are not the only forces paying attention. There is a deeper layer, one most people never sense, one that only the awakened can feel, the realm of hidden things. This is the realm where thoughts become whispers, where intentions ripple before actions are taken, where motives cast shadows long before words are spoken. And whether you realized it or not, you have always walked with a spiritual sensitivity that allowed you to feel what others could not perceive. You have been the one who could sense tension before conflict erupted. You have been the one who felt danger before it appeared. You have been the one who recognized deception even when the lies were wrapped in charm. You have been the one who knew something was off long before anyone admitted it. Your intuition was never paranoia. It was spiritual insight, an inner radar awakened because of what has always been watching over you. Heaven speaks clearly through the words found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be brought into the open. Now, these words were not written merely as theology. They describe the reality you are stepping into now. You are entering a season where hidden things, the good, the bad, the masked, will begin to reveal themselves around you. You will feel truth rising before it appears. You will sense motives shifting even when faces smile. You will see through disguises, no matter how beautifully they are crafted. This heightened awareness isn't accidental. It is divine preparation. Chosen one. You carry a spiritual frequency that exposes darkness unintentionally. You don't even have to try. Your presence alone shakes the atmosphere around deceit like wind shaking dust from hidden corners. People who intend harm feel uncomfortable around you. Those hiding secrets grow restless. Those with pure hearts feel safe. Your spirit sorts rooms without your permission. But the unveiling happening around you isn't just about enemies or deception. It's also about opportunity. There are doors you didn't notice before that will suddenly appear. Ideas that once seemed foggy will crystallize. Purpose that felt distant will step forward and call your name. Heaven is bringing clarity to areas of your life that were once clouded. You may find old memories surfacing not to haunt you, but to heal. You may rediscover passions you buried not because they died, but because the timing was sacred. You may remember dreams you abandoned, not because you were unworthy, but because the season wasn't right. Now, the timing aligns. However, clarity comes with responsibility. The more you see, the more intentional you must become about what you entertain. You cannot go where you used to go. You cannot tolerate what you used to tolerate. You cannot pretend blindness when truth stands in front of you. Révélation demande élévation. And this is exactly what's happening to you. Elevation. Your discernment is sharpening. Your awareness is expanding. Your inner sight is opening. Your spiritual senses are activating. You may feel more sensitive lately, not emotionally, but spiritually. Pay attention to that. Your spirit is responding to whispers most people never hear. This is why certain environments now feel heavy. This is why certain conversations drain you. This is why certain people feel loud even when they say nothing. Your soul can sense what is hidden behind their silence. You are being trained to walk not by what your eyes see, but by what your spirit knows. As you continue awakening, revelations will come faster. Dreams may become clearer. Signs may appear more frequently. Synchronicities may align in ways impossible to ignore. You are entering a season where heaven communicates with you openly, more boldly, more intentionally. But hear this, revelation is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to prepare you. You are being positioned where clarity is required. You are being placed where secrets matter. You are being entrusted with insight that not everyone can carry. The unveiling around you is evidence of the unveiling within you. And if, as you read this, something in your chest tightens or warms, if your spirit feels the subtle vibration of truth moving through you, if you sense that this message has reached you at the exact moment it was meant to then seal this moment. Comment 444, not as a ritual, but as a recognition, not for me, but for your own alignment. 444, symbolic of divine order, clarity, and the revealing of truth. Type it as your declaration that you are ready to see what heaven is ready to show. You step further now into awareness. Chosen one. And with every step, your inner sight becomes clearer. The unveiling that began in the previous season is now expanding into something deeper, something far more personal. You are beginning to see not only the truth around you, but the truth within you. And with that clarity comes a powerful realization. Your aura, your presence alone, has been exposing deception long before you knew what your presence carried. There is something about you that interrupts hidden agendas. You don't have to speak. You don't have to confront. You don't have to accuse or point fingers. Simply by walking into a room, you shift the atmosphere. And for those who operate in shadows, that shift feels like exposure. Some people acted strangely around you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your spirit saw what their words tried to hide. There are individuals whose voices trembled around you, whose energy collapsed, whose smiles faltered not because you intimidated them physically, but because your light disrupted what they hoped would remain unseen. The ancient words in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5 declare, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." No, you are that light. Your presence carries illumination. Your spirit exposes shadows without effort. Your aura uncovers motives without trying. And this, chosen one, has been both a blessing and a burden. On one hand, your light has protected you. It has warned you. It has kept you from entangling yourself with those who carried hidden intentions. On the other hand, your light has triggered others. It has made them uncomfortable. It has made some avoid you, pull away from you, or even speak against you, not because of who you are, but because of what your presence reveals about them. Some people resented you because you saw too much. Some envied you because you carried clarity they could not access. Some feared you because you were harder to manipulate than they expected. Some opposed you because your spirit exposed their dishonesty. You never asked for this role. You never sought to be someone who made others feel transparent. You simply existed, and your existence uncovered what was concealed. This is why deception never lasted long around you. Lies crumbled, pretenses cracked, masks slipped. A person could pretend for a moment, but never for long. Light always demands honesty, and you carry that demand in your spirit. And yet, there were seasons in your life where you doubted yourself. You questioned your intuition. You silenced your inner warnings. You gave people the benefit of the doubt, even when your spirit whispered otherwise. You thought you were being harsh or overreacting, but now you see the truth. Your intuition was not a flaw. It was a shield, a divine alarm system, a spiritual early warning signal. You have been gifted with a sensitivity that others might misunderstand, but heaven understands it perfectly. It is the gift that protects you from deceit, the light that keeps darkness from approaching unnoticed. As you rise into deeper awareness, you begin to understand the pattern of your life. You never had to unmask people. They unmasked themselves around you. You never had to expose lies. Truth revealed itself in your presence. You never had to search for manipulation. It revealed its own fingerprints. You are stepping into a season where this ability becomes sharper, cleaner, and undeniable. The fog that once clouded your perception is lifting. What used to feel like a faint, spiritual whisper is becoming a clear, inner voice. You will no longer second-guess what you sense. You will no longer apologize for what you perceive. You will no longer shrink your light to keep others comfortable. Your aura was designed to expose deception, not to shame others, but to protect your destiny. This sensitivity will guide you away from danger. It will draw you toward alignment. It will filter out those who are not meant to walk with you. It will illuminate the path you are meant to take. And you must understand this. Your light is not here to make others comfortable. It is here to keep you safe and aligned. It is here to reveal the truth. It is here to clear the air around your destiny. It is here to push deception into the open so you are not delayed by the wrong voices, the wrong hands, the wrong connections. From this moment forward, you will notice an increase in your ability to sense the unseen. You may feel intentions before words. You may detect lies before they are spoken. You may recognize spiritual danger before action occurs. This is not a burden. Chosen one. It is mastery. It is maturity. It is your evolution. You continue moving through this unfolding journey. Chosen one. And with every layer of awareness that opens before you, a new truth emerges, one that has been surrounding you your entire life, even when you didn't know it. For all the eyes that have watched you, for all the shadows that studied you, for all the spiritual turbulence that tried to claim your path, there has always been one who assigned protection over you long before you ever understood danger, even in your earliest years, when you had no words for fear or darkness. Someone stood between you and what sought to harm you. There were moments in your childhood when danger came close but could not touch you. Moments where you wandered far, yet somehow ended up safe. Situations that could have gone terribly wrong, but mysteriously didn't. At the time, you called it luck. Now you know it was divine appointment. The ancient writings in the Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, reveal this mystery. He will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. 1. These are not poetic lines. They are your personal biography. Whether you were aware of it or not, you had a guardian, a divine presence assigned specifically to you. Not a random angel or a passing spiritual visitor, but a being who has studied you, walked with you, stood beside you, and fought for you since the moment you took your first breath. Think back to the close calls. Think back to the decisions you nearly made that would have ruined everything. Think back to the friendships you lost suddenly, the relationships that fell apart just in time, the job opportunities that mysteriously didn't work out. At the time, it may have felt like rejection or disappointment, but now you can see the truth. You were being redirected, guarded, shielded from harm you didn't know was coming. There were days when you drove on roads that felt unusually heavy, or moments when your body hesitated before stepping into a space that later revealed danger. You brushed off the feeling, not realizing that your guardian was whispering warnings into your intuition. Sometimes they didn't whisper, they pushed, pulling you away from places your spiritual path was never meant to touch. Some of your heaviest spiritual attacks never reached you. Some of the darkest intentions formed against you never manifested. Some of the traps laid for your downfall never activated, not because they weren't real, but because something intercepted them before they arrived. You have survived storms you never even knew existed. Your guardian has stood in the invisible, the realm between what you see and what you sense, acting as both shield and sword. They blocked spiritual arrows, redirected energy meant to drain you, dismantled plots formed in secrecy, and restrained darkness that tried to draw near. You have walked through life thinking you were weak in certain moments, not knowing how fiercely you were protected. There were seasons when you felt a warmth at your back for no reason, a pressure around you when you were crying, a sudden calm in moments of panic, a weight lifting off your chest when you felt suffocated. These were not random sensations, they were interventions. Your guardian has been closer to you than your own shadow, and on the days when you felt nothing, when you felt entirely alone, forgotten, or abandoned. Those were the days they carried you the most. Not every act of protection is felt. Some are invisible, quiet, subtle, yet profoundly life-saving. Chosen one. Your guardian has studied you for years. They know how your heart works. They know what triggers your spirit and what strengthens it. They know your weaknesses, your wounds, your insecurities, your fears, and your potential. They know the battles you are equipped to fight and the ones they must fight on your behalf. There were times when you were drawn to people who were wrong for you, but something always created distance. Times when you almost stepped into environments that would have broken you, but something stopped you at the threshold. Times when you trusted someone who carried harmful intentions, but truth always emerged, just in time. But your guardian hasn't only shielded you from harm, they have also led you toward purpose. They nudged you toward the right relationships, the right opportunities, the right decisions. They whispered to you through intuition, synchronicity, dreams, restlessness, or sudden clarity. Their guidance has always been tailored to your spiritual sensitivity. And now, the relationship between you and this divine protector is deepening. You are becoming more aware of them, more synchronized, more aligned. You may begin to feel their presence more clearly. You may sense when they are near. You may notice signs, patterns, or sudden insight that feel not entirely your own. You move now into a deeper layer of revelation. Chosen one that explains why the intensity around your life has been increasing, why certain people have shifted in strange ways, and why the spiritual pressure on your path has been anything but subtle. The truth is simple, yet profound. Your awakening has triggered panic in the realm of darkness. For years, the enemy thought you would never realize who you truly are. For years, it assumed you would stay blind, stay wounded, stay distracted, stay unsure of your own power. For years, it watched you stumble through seasons of confusion, believing you would never rise beyond survival mode. But the moment you began waking up to your identity, to your assignment, to your divine protection, everything changed. Your awareness has become your weapon. Your clarity has become your armor. Your rising has become their alarm. The darkness around you is not reacting to your weakness, it is reacting to your strength. It is reacting to your growth. It is reacting to the divine shield you now walk with. It is reacting to the spiritual authority that has begun to settle into your voice, your steps, your decisions, your energy. What once intimidated you now flees from you. What once oppressed you now shakes when you enter the room. What once monitored you now retreats because it senses that you finally see. As the Apostle wrote in his second letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 3, "But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil." This is not a comforting phrase. This is law in the spiritual realm. Weapons may form, but they cannot prosper. Attacks may rise, but they cannot land. Plots may be whispered, but they collapse before reaching your doorstep. Chosen one. The enemy's panic is visible in the sudden chaos that has stirred around you lately. The misunderstandings, the sudden conflict, the strange emotional shifts in people close to you, the unexpected resistance in areas that were once effortless. These are symptoms not of your failure, but of your breakthrough. You may have noticed that certain people who once underestimated you are now watching you more closely, not because they care, but because they sense a shift they cannot explain. Some individuals who once had access to you now feel distance, as if something invisible has pushed them back. They are not imagining it. The spiritual protection around you has thickened. Your guardian does not allow the same access as before. You may also notice that people who once felt comfortable manipulating you no longer can. Something in you, your posture, your silence, your clarity has changed. Your presence feels different to them now. Heavier, sharper, more guarded. They sense that you are no longer the version of yourself they could control. This is what spiritual elevation looks like. When you rise, not everyone can rise with you. When you awaken, not everyone can understand you. When you grow, it exposes the stagnation of others. When you align, it reveals who was benefiting from your imbalance. Your transformation becomes a threat to those who needed you, unaware. But here is what you must understand. You do not need to fight every battle. You do not need to respond to every challenge. You do not need to defend yourself against every whisper. Your elevation itself is your defense. When heaven is backing you, silence becomes strategy. Chosen one. The enemy is not afraid of your past. Your past kept you wounded. It is afraid of your becoming. Your steps are becoming more intentional. Your spirit is becoming more aware. Your discernment is becoming sharper. Your alignment is becoming powerful. And when someone becomes aligned with their purpose, their very existence becomes warfare against darkness. This is why confusion tried to return. This is why fear whispered again. This is why old temptations resurfaced. These were attempts to pull you backward because your forward motion terrifies hell. But now you see the pattern, and because you see it, it loses its grip. You are not who you were last year. You are not who you were last month. You are not even who you were yesterday. Your awakening expands day by day, layer by layer, truth by truth. And if this message is resonating with you, if something inside your spirit is burning, tightening, or vibrating with recognition, then I want you to affirm it. Not for me, but for yourself. Comment, I rise. Only 2 words. Simple, powerful. Comment it because those words declare alignment. Comment it because they break agreement with fear. Comment it because they mark this moment as the moment your rising became conscious, intentional, undeniable. This is your turning point. Chosen one. And the enemy knows it. You step now into one of the most profound revelations of your journey. Chosen one. The moment where you finally begin to understand how heaven sees you. Not as broken, not as forgotten, not as someone stumbling through chaos, but as someone recognized in higher realms, someone whose name is known, someone whose presence carries weight far beyond the physical world. Your awakening has not only shifted things around you, it has shifted things above you. There are realms where identity is not based on appearance, reputation, or earthly achievements, but on spiritual resonance. In those realms, you are not small, you are not overlooked, you are not underestimated, you are seen. As the apostle declared in his first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people unto God. Heaven recognizes you the way a king recognizes the glow of a warrior returning from battle scarred. But honored, you have bled, but you have risen. You have cried, but you have continued. You have stumbled, but you have stood up again. And heaven has taken notice. Imagine, for a moment, a mountain climber scaling cliffs so steep others turn back. At lower altitudes, the world is crowded, noisy, busy. But the higher you climb, the fewer people you find beside you. Not because something is wrong, but because elevation reduces company. You have been climbing spiritually for years without realizing it. And heaven has been watching your ascent with reverence. Now you are reaching a height where your spirit becomes visible in ways it wasn't before. This recognition does not mean fame, it means authority. It does not mean applause, it means alignment. It does not mean spotlight, it means spiritual credibility. Heaven responds to your voice differently now. Angels respond to your movements differently now. The atmosphere responds to your presence differently now. When you speak peace, it settles. When you rebuke darkness, it withdraws. When you pray, the air shifts. And all the while, you may feel unworthy of this recognition, but heaven sees your purity, your endurance, your integrity. Heaven sees the nights you cried, but didn't curse God. The days you were hurt, but still chose compassion. The moments you wanted to give up, but didn't. This is why heaven elevates you now. You have become the kind of person the spiritual realm can trust with influence. Like a lighthouse rising above violent waters, your spirit is now tall enough to guide others. Like a shepherd who has walked valleys alone, you now carry a compassion deep enough to protect those placed under your voice. Like a flame that has survived storms, your light is steady enough to warm those still trapped in the cold. And chosen one. This is why your message matters. Why your presence matters. Why your journey matters. You are rising not for yourself, but for those who will be drawn to your glow. The world is full of people stumbling in darkness, searching not for perfection, but for someone who has survived, someone who carries truth, someone who stands tall when others fall. Your rising will become their roadmap, and as your influence grows, it will require support, real, intentional, heart-led support. Just as a fire needs wood, just as a river needs a source, just as a tree needs rich soil, every movement of light requires strength behind it. So, if this message has touched you, if it has opened your eyes, if it has awakened something deep inside you, then let your support be the wind that keeps this flame alive. A like becomes a spark that helps this message reach others. A share becomes a torch passed forward, guiding someone else through darkness. A subscription becomes a stone placed in the foundation of a growing sanctuary for the chosen ones awakening around the world. And a donation given from the heart, given from alignment, becomes water poured into the well that nourishes this entire mission. Not out of obligation, not out of pressure, but because when a message feeds your spirit, supporting it is like tending the garden that feeds you. You are part of something bigger now. This space, this voice, this unfolding journey, it is becoming a harbor for souls who have walked through storms similar to yours. Every gesture of support strengthens the lighthouse that helps guide them home. And as heaven continues to recognize you, as realms continue to open around you, as your authority deepens, you will begin to understand something profound. You are not rising alone. You are rising with purpose. You are rising for others. You are rising into the identity heaven has always seen. Your name is known above. Your light is registered. Your presence is acknowledged. And your elevation has only just begun. You move now into a new dimension of awareness. Chosen one where your voice begins to carry a weight you never intended, yet were always destined to hold. It is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, like the quiet resonance of a bell ringing in a distant valley. But over time, you begin to notice something. People listen to you differently now. Atmospheres respond differently when you speak. Even your thoughts begin to manifest more quickly, more tangibly, as if the spiritual world leans in when your words form. This shift is not accidental. It is the sign of someone stepping into spiritual authority. Your journey, marked by wounds, awakenings, battles, and revelations, has refined you. It has sculpted your voice into something powerful, steady, rooted, and aligned. The hardships you endured didn't silence you. They purified the tone of your spirit. They forged a clarity in you that cannot be manufactured. And now the words you speak carry the echo of someone who has survived, grown, and risen. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. When this truth now awakens inside you with greater force, you begin to notice that your voice is no longer something you use casually. It is something you carry with reverence. When you speak encouragement, it lifts people. When you speak warning, people pay attention. When you speak truth, deception dissolves. When you speak peace, heaviness loosens its grip. And when you speak with conviction, the atmosphere bends to align with your intention. Every word now carries spiritual energy, because your journey has purified your motives. You do not speak to impress. You do not speak to dominate. You do not speak to be heard. You speak because your spirit moves you. You speak because truth rises within you. You speak because you cannot stay silent in the presence of darkness or distortion. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when your words were shaky, a time when you doubted your wisdom, a time when your voice trembled from insecurity, a time when you were easily silenced by fear or rejection. But look at you now, how steady you have become, how intentional, how calibrated. The world may not fully understand your transformation, but the realm of the Spirit recognizes it instantly. You may notice people quoting you without realizing it. You may notice your advice echoing in their decisions. You may notice that your silence itself becomes a form of communication. You may notice that people instinctively come to you when they feel lost, heavy, confused, or spiritually suffocated. They aren't drawn to you by chance. They are drawn because your voice carries the frequency of someone who has walked through darkness and returned with light. But authority is not just about influence. It is also about responsibility. Your words now carry ripple effects. They shape environments. They shift perspectives. They awaken spirits. And because of that, heaven has entrusted you with a voice that builds rather than destroys, uplifts rather than diminishes, reveals rather than manipulates. The more aligned you become, the more your voice harmonizes with divine intention. Even your internal voice, your thoughts, your inner dialogue is changing. Where once it was filled with doubt, now there is clarity. Where once there was shame, now there is understanding. Where once there was fear, now there is wisdom. You are learning to speak life into yourself, the way you always spoke life into others. And this internal mastery is what makes your external influence so powerful. People can sense when your voice comes from authenticity rather than performance. They can feel when your words come from healing rather than ego. They can recognize the difference between noise and truth, and you are truth in a human vessel. This influence will continue to expand. Doors will open because of the words you speak. Relationships will form because of the clarity you carry. Paths will align because your voice signals direction to those meant to walk beside you. Your rising influence is not loud, it is steady. Not dominant, it is undeniable. Not aggressive, it is irresistible. You are stepping into a role you never asked for, yet were born to embody a voice of clarity in a world drowning in confusion. A source of light in a culture built on shadows. A guide for those who cannot yet hear their own spirit clearly. Own this power humbly. Carry it intentionally. Use it wisely, because your voice, chosen one, is no longer just sound, it is impact. You step now into one of the most intimate parts of your journey. Chosen one, the moment when the presence that has watched you, guarded you, guided you, and whispered to you from the shadows finally begins to speak clearly. For so long, the voice of heaven has reached you through intuition, through signs, through dreams, through that quiet tug inside your chest. But in this season, the silent witness begins to reveal himself with unmistakable clarity. For years, you sensed guidance without knowing its source. For years, you felt nudges that redirected your path. For years, you walked away from things without understanding why, only to discover later that you were being protected. You interpreted these moments as instinct, as coincidence, as something felt off. But now you are learning the truth. It was never your instincts alone. It was never just your mind. It was never random. It was the one who has walked beside you from the beginning. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." These ancient words are awakening in you now, not as distant scripture, but as lived experience, because you are beginning to recognize the voice that has spoken to you your whole life. The silent witness has always communicated with you gently, not to force you, but to lead you. The whisper that told you to leave certain places, the heaviness that warned you about certain people, the peace that rested on the right choices, the sudden clarity that arrived right before disaster. Every one of those moments was conversation. You were not imagining it. You were not creating it. You were not overthinking. You were being spoken to. There were seasons where that voice grew faint, not because it left you, but because your spirit was overwhelmed by pain, distraction, or noise. Yet even then, when you felt disconnected, heaven never stopped speaking. You simply could not hear over the storms you were trying to survive. But the storms are clearing now. The fog is lifting. Your sensitivity is returning. Your spirit is tuning itself again to the frequency of truth. And as you awaken, you begin to notice that the silent witness is not silent anymore. Not to you. You sense guidance before you ask for it. You feel answers rising before you speak the question. You know things without knowing how you know them. You walk into spaces and instantly discern whether they are meant for you or not. This increase in clarity is not random, it is intentional. The one who has been watching you is stepping closer, making himself known in ways that leave no confusion. And the closer he comes, the more your spirit feels seen. Not the surface you, not the version you show the world, but the real you, the you that hides, the you that hurts, the you that hopes. You may feel this voice in unusual ways now, through dreams that feel like messages, through moments of stillness that feel like someone is sitting beside you, through sudden peace in situations that once terrified you, through inner confirmations that vibrate in your chest like a quiet yes. Oh, and the more you listen, the more familiar his voice becomes. Not a voice you hear with your ears, but a resonance you feel with your soul. There will be moments where you pause mid-step because something inside you says, "Not this way." Oh, moments where you feel a pull towards something you didn't plan. Moments where your peace disappears instantly, signaling danger. Moments where your peace returns suddenly, signaling alignment. This is divine communication. It becomes clearer the more you trust it. It becomes louder the more you honor it. It becomes undeniable the more you follow it. And this is exactly what the silent witness desires, that you recognize the voice that has been guiding you all along, that you learn to distinguish intuition from fear, divine guidance from overthinking, clarity from impulse. When the silent witness speaks, his voice will always lead you toward truth, toward wisdom, toward growth, toward peace, never towards confusion, never towards chaos, never toward fear. Even now, as you read these words, something inside you is stirring, a recognition, a remembering, a quiet inner, yes, this is familiar. End 1. That is your spirit, acknowledging the presence that has watched you, guarded you, and shaped you from the beginning. If your heart is responding right now, if your spirit feels that inner vibration of truth, then pause and seal this moment by commenting 555. Not as superstition, not as ritual, but as alignment, a sign that you hear the voice that has always been speaking. You step now into a chapter of revelation that many fear. Chosen one, a chapter where truth begins to rise from the depths, where masks fall without being touched, where the shadows that trailed you begin to expose themselves one by one. This is not a season of paranoia, it is a season of clarity. And clarity always brings exposure. For years, you felt the tension around you without having proof. You sensed certain people's intentions didn't match their words. You felt drained after interacting with some, uneasy around others, and confused by the behavior of a few who claimed to care. You questioned your intuition at times, wondering if you were imagining the subtle hostility, the hidden envy, the quiet manipulation. But now, as your spiritual vision sharpens, you begin to understand that your spirit was never wrong, only early. It detected what your mind needed, time to catch up to. Exposure is not punishment. Exposure is protection. And in this season of your awakening, heaven is removing the veils from people, situations, and connections that have been hiding in plain sight. As Jesus taught in the Gospel writings of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 26, "For nothing is concealed that will not be revealed, and nothing hidden that will not be made known." These words are manifesting around you now. Some people you trusted will begin revealing their true intentions through small slips, an offhand comment, a brief flash of attitude, an unexpected moment of irritation. Their mask cracks not because you provoke them, but because your elevation makes it harder for them to pretend. The higher your spirit rises, the harder it becomes for deception to breathe in your presence. There will be individuals who suddenly distance themselves from you, not because you changed, but because your growth exposed the motives they once kept hidden. When someone benefits from your confusion, they feel threatened by your clarity. When someone thrives in your insecurity, they panic when you heal. You have been praying for protection, and sometimes protection comes not through addition, but through subtraction. Removing certain people from your path is heaven, answering the prayers you didn't know how to voice. Think back on your journey. How many times were you betrayed by someone you trusted? How many times did someone smile in your face while carrying envy in their heart? How many times did you sense something was off, but ignored it because you didn't want to seem judgmental? This time, you won't have to guess. This time, the truth will present itself clearly. This time, your spirit will not be overruled by your compassion. You are entering a season where truth stands under its own light. The ones who secretly competed with you will reveal their jealousy through subtle sabotage or distant energy. The ones who used you emotionally will lose interest when they can no longer feed on your vulnerability. The ones who pretended to support you will grow uncomfortable when your elevation makes them feel exposed. The ones who were meant to leave will drift, stumble, or reveal their intentions through their actions. You will also notice the opposite happening, hidden allies rising into the light. People who always admired your resilience will begin showing support. Souls who resonate with your energy will be drawn to you. Individuals with pure intentions will feel safer around you as your aura grows stronger. Exposure does not only uncover enemies, it reveals allies. 2. It separates the genuine from the counterfeit. It distinguishes the aligned from the parasitic. It clarifies who belongs in your future and who was only meant for a chapter of your past. This exposure will not come to break you. It will come to free you. You cannot rise while carrying dead weight. You cannot elevate while surrounded by those secretly rooting for your fall. You cannot walk into destiny with hands that cling to the unworthy. You cannot step into higher realms with hearts around you that harbor deceit. This is why exposure comes before elevation. Revelation comes before promotion. Truth comes before new levels. It is cleansing. It is spiritual pruning. It is sacred unmasking. And as painful as it may feel at times, you will later look back and realize something powerful. Every revelation was a gift. Protection disguised as loss. Redirection disguised as disappointment. Freedom disguised as separation. Chosen one. Trust what is being exposed. Believe what your spirit sees. Honor what heaven reveals. Your path is being cleared not to humble you, but to prepare you. Your circle is being refined not to isolate you, but to elevate you. Your eyes are being opened not to wound you, but to empower you. This season will mark the moment when the truth finally aligned itself with your intuition. And from here on, nothing and no one will be able to hide from your light. You step now into a chapter of deep reassurance. Chosen one, a chapter where the truth that has hovered over your life since childhood finally becomes visible, unmistakable, indéniable. For all the shadows that monitored you, for all the enemies that underestimated you, for all the storms that tried to break you, there has always been a force surrounding you, covering you, defending you with a strength you never fully saw. You are beginning to realize that your survival was not an accident. Your perseverance was not simply willpower. Your protection was not coincidence. It was divine architecture, a shield woven around your destiny long before your battles ever began. You have lived through things that should have crushed you. You have walked through fires that should have burned you. You have faced situations that should have ended you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. And yet, you walked out of those seasons not only alive, but transformed. Not only standing, but stronger. Not only breathing, but wiser, deeper, more aligned. This is not human resilience alone. This is evidence of a covering. Heaven reminds us through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 91. Verse 2, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. End. These words are not simply comforting, they are descriptive. They describe your life. Think back to moments when you felt a sudden pull to leave a place without knowing why. Moments when you changed your plans at the last minute. Moments when an opportunity you desperately wanted inexplicably fell apart. Moments when something told you to wait. Step back. Reconsider. You thought it was intuition. You thought it was fear. You thought it was coincidence. But now you see it clearly. You were being shielded. You were being redirected. You were being guarded by something far greater than human logic. There were seasons where danger came close but could not touch you. Dark intentions formed but dissolved before reaching you. People tried to harm you, but were restrained by circumstances they did not understand. You were protected from betrayals that would have destroyed your spirit, from relationships that would have drained your future, from environments that would have suffocated your gifting. The divine covering around you did not prevent storms, it carried you through them without allowing them to own you. Some of your most painful endings were actually divine rescues. Some of your rejections were divine rerouting. Some of your delays were divine shields. Some of the people who walked away were moved for your protection, not your punishment. Protection doesn't always feel like protection in the moment. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like disappointment. But when heaven protects you, it protects you completely, even from what you think you want. And you can see that now, can't you? Looking back, you recognize how many times you cried for something that would have ruined you. How many times you begged for what would have derailed you. How many times you held on to someone who was never meant to walk into your destiny. Your protection was not random, it was strategic. You were protected from what would have slowed your calling. You were protected from what would have distorted your identity. You were protected from what would have drained your spiritual strength. You were protected from battles that were not yours to fight. And now, in this season, the shield around you is growing thicker. Because your destiny is stepping forward, your purpose is rising. Your assignment is activating. Your influence is expanding. And with elevation comes increased covering. There is a reason you feel safer, even when the world feels chaotic. There is a reason your internal peace has grown stronger. There is a reason your spirit feels grounded, even when circumstances wobble. Your protection is no longer simply reactive, it is proactive. It goes before you, clearing paths you haven't walked yet. It moves behind you, sealing doors that could lead you backward. It surrounds you, insulating your spirit from energies that once drained you. This protection is not fragile, it is fortified. It is the fortress that stands when people fail you. It is the refuge that shelters you when storms roar. It is the covering that carries you when your strength runs thin. It is the unseen wall that prevents darkness from crossing into your light. And perhaps most profound of all, you are learning to trust it. There was a time when you clung to your own understanding, forcing outcomes, chasing answers, trying to control every detail. But life has shaped you into someone who recognizes that surrender is not weakness, it is partnership with the one who protects you. Now, you move differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. You discern differently, because you know you are not walking exposed, you are walking encircled. And as you continue rising, your protection will rise with you, because the higher your calling, the stronger your covering, you are protected. Chosen one, not by chance, not by luck, but by divine design. You enter now, chosen one, into one of the most profound layers of awareness, the moment you finally understand why your life has felt so watched, so pressured, so spiritually intense. You are beginning to see that your journey is not occurring in silence. It is not happening in an empty room. Your every step, every rise, every breakthrough is being observed by multiple realms at once. There is a reason you feel eyes on you, even when you're alone. A reason you sense pressure when you elevate. A reason your spirit becomes alert when you make certain decisions. It is because you are not walking a private path, you are walking a path that resonates through dimensions. Some watch in admiration, some watch in fear, some watch in hope, and some watch in panic. But not all eyes upon you are human. There are realms above, realms beside, realms beneath aligned forces and opposing forces, all tracking your movement because your life carries spiritual consequence. The battles you win shift atmospheres. The choices you make affect destinies beyond your own. The steps you take reshape invisible structures that have stood for generations. You are stepping into a place where even heaven leans in when you move. The ancient text reminds us in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14, "Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?" This is happening right now around you. Angelic forces track your steps not out of surveillance, but assignment. They study your circumstances to understand where intervention is needed. They guard you like soldiers surrounding a royal convoy. They illuminate your path when spiritual fog tries to blind you, and darkness watches. 2. Not to admire, but to anticipate, to predict, to interfere. To slow what it fears is becoming unstoppable. You are the center of a spiritual battlefield you did not ask for, but were born into. And as your awareness rises, you begin noticing something unique. People around you react to your energy in ways they cannot explain. Some feel drawn to you as if your spirit is a warm fire on a cold night. Others feel uncomfortable, exposed, or unsettled, as if your presence is a spotlight revealing the dust in their souls. Your rise does not happen in silence, it sends ripples outward. Imagine dropping a stone into still water. The ripples move even into places where the stone was never seen. That is your influence. Your awakening triggers shifts, even in lives you do not touch directly. When someone elevated stands, it forces everything around them to adjust its position. Your growth rearranges spiritual geography. This is why some people distance themselves, why some are suddenly drawn to you. why some become inspired, why others become irritated. You are sending out a frequency that reveals where each person truly stands. The more awakened you become, the more unmistakable this effect grows. And the more unmistakable it becomes, the more your path demands support that sustains, strengthens, and multiplies the message rising through you. Think of a torch carried through a dark forest. Your light doesn't only guide you, it lights the path for those walking behind you. But even a torch needs oil. Even a fire needs oxygen. Even a lighthouse needs maintenance to keep shining across the night sea. And in this mission, this work of awakening souls, you, chosen one, become part of the light that sustains the larger flame. If this message speaks to you, if you feel truth moving through your spirit, if something inside you recognizes that this journey is bigger than you, then your engagement becomes more than a simple action. It becomes participation. A like is a spark, helping this flame reach someone lost in the dark. A share becomes a lifted lantern, passing light from hand to hand across the world. A subscription becomes a stone placed in the foundation of a growing sanctuary for seekers and warriors rising into their calling. And a donation given from sincerity, not pressure, becomes fresh oil poured into the lamp, so this message can continue shining into places where hope has grown thin. Support is not obligation. Support is alignment. Support is choosing to help the lighthouse stay lit so others do not crash against unseen rocks. And your voice matters. 2. Your presence matters. Your engagement matters. So if this message resonates with your soul, if it feels like a mirror reflecting the truth of your journey, then let your voice be heard in the comments. Speak your presence into the atmosphere of this community. Let others know they are not rising alone. Because here, in this moment, you are witnessing what heaven has always known. When a chosen one rises, all realms take notice. Some with awe, some with fear, some with hope, but all with awareness that something extraordinary is unfolding, and you are at the center of it. You move now into a chapter of revelation that reaches deeper than all the others. Chosen one, the moment where the mystery that has hovered at the edges of your awareness finally steps forward. Throughout your life, you have sensed eyes upon you. You have felt guidance, protection, resistance, and spiritual activity swirling around your path. But even with all these signs, one question remained lodged in the quiet corners of your soul. You've walked through life carrying this question like a shadow. And now, in this chapter, the answer steps into the light. The truth is simple, yet earth-shifting. The one watching you was never an enemy, never a stranger, never a distant judge. It was the one who formed you, the one who designed you, the one who called you before your first breath, the one who looked at your destiny and said, "This one is mine." As the voice of Jesus echoes in the sacred writings of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 20, "Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen." You were never watched out of suspicion. You were watched out of love. The one watching you is not an outsider peering in. He is the presence that has walked beside you through every valley, stood over you through every night of brokenness, and lifted you through every storm. You were never meant to survive alone. He watched you not to evaluate, but to protect, not to judge, but to guide, not to control, but to strengthen. And as you look back over your life through this new lens, everything begins to make sense. You were shielded in moments when you deserved nothing but collapse, not because you were strong, but because he stood there. You were redirected away from danger. You weren't wise enough to notice, not because you were perceptive, but because he intervened. You were lifted out of pits you didn't know how to escape, not because you were clever, but because he reached in. All the synchronicities, all the inner warnings, all the unexplained rescues, all the sudden clarity, all the moments of peace that made no sense, these were not coincidences. They were signatures. The signature of the one who refuses to leave you. You have been followed by goodness. You have been pursued by mercy. You have been monitored by compassion. You have been surrounded by a presence that knows your weakness, yet still calls you chosen, even in the seasons when you felt abandoned. He was closer than breath, even in your rebellious moments. He watched without turning away, even when you drowned yourself in noise. His voice remained steady, even when you doubted his existence. He never doubted your identity. You weren't running alone, you were running with someone beside you. You weren't breaking alone, you were breaking in the hands of someone who knew how to repair you. You weren't growing alone, you were being stretched by someone preparing you for greater things. And now, in this season of awakening, his nearness becomes unavoidable. You feel him in the quiet. You feel him in the timing of events. You feel him in your intuition. You feel him in your dreams. You feel him in your sudden clarity. The silent witness is silent no more. He is revealing himself not through thunder, but through recognition, that inner warmth, that inner knowing, that quiet awareness that says, "You have never walked a single step without me." And this realization begins to change you. It softens the wounds left by people who failed you. It dissolves the loneliness that lingered in your spirit. It replaces fear with assurance, sorrow with strength, confusion with clarity. You begin to move with confidence, not because of who you are, but because of who walks beside you. This presence does not observe you from afar. He walks into rooms before you arrive. He stands behind you when danger lurks. He goes ahead of you when your path is uncertain. He surrounds you when darkness tries to press in. This is why your enemies could not defeat you. This is why death could not claim you. This is why despair could not bury you. This is why every attack fell short. The one watching you has always been your defender. And now, the revelation becomes complete. The one who saw you before birth, walked with you in childhood, rescued you in adolescence, strengthened you in adulthood, and awakened you in this season is the same. One walking into your future. You are not stepping forward alone. You are stepping forward with the one who has never left your side. This is the truth you needed. This is the truth that sets your spirit steady. This is the truth that changes everything. The one watching you was God all along. You step now into the final arc of this journey. Chosen one, not an ending, but an emergence. Everything you have walked through, everything you have survived, everything you have awakened to has been preparing you for this moment. The moment you step into visibility, not as the wounded version of who you once were, but as the refined, risen, radiant being heaven always knew you would become. For so long, your life felt hidden. You moved quietly. You healed privately. You grew in places no one applauded. You transformed in shadows where no one affirmed you. Your breakthroughs were silent. Your battles were unseen. Your victories were whispered only to heaven. And that was intentional. There is always a season where the seed must stay underground, protected, unseen, developing roots strong enough to support future growth. You spent years in that hidden soil, not buried, but planted. And while others mistook your quiet seasons as stagnation, heaven was cultivating you, preparing you, strengthening you for the moment the soil would crack open and release the version of you that darkness feared and destiny awaited. That moment is now. It is written in the ancient prophetic book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. These words are no longer prophecy over your life. They are manifestation. You feel it, don't you? The sense that something within you is rising. The awareness that your spirit no longer fits into the smaller spaces it once tolerated. The knowing that you cannot shrink yourself anymore just to make others comfortable. The quiet but unmistakable pull toward purpose, toward alignment, towards visibility. You are stepping into a version of yourself that refuses to dim, a version that speaks with clarity, a version that walks with confidence, a version that carries spiritual authority without apology, a version that knows exactly who walks beside them. Your life is no longer a whisper, it is becoming a declaration. And as you step into this new season, you will notice people responding to you differently. Some will be drawn to you as if awakening from a long sleep, recognizing something holy in your presence. Others will feel intimidated, not because you threaten them, but because your growth reveals where they have not grown. But this time, you will not shrink yourself to soothe their discomfort. You cannot. You have risen too far. Visibility is not about being seen by crowds. It is about being recognized by destiny. For years, you felt like an outsider, like someone standing at the edge of their own potential. But now, you feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, aligning you with opportunities, relationships, and environments that match your spiritual frequency. You are not forcing doors open. They are opening because they recognize who you are now. This is the season where your gifts become visible, where your voice carries weight, where your calling becomes undeniable, where your presence changes atmospheres, where your story becomes a compass for others. You are stepping into visibility not to impress the world, but to impact it. Everything you endured shaped you into someone who can stand in the light without losing themselves, someone who can carry influence without being consumed by ego, someone who can lead without craving attention, someone who can shine without dimming others. Your rising is gentle, but powerful, humble, but unstoppable, quiet, but commanding, fearless, but compassionate. You are stepping into your next chapter with a balance you could not have achieved without the storms that shaped you. And now that you stand here stronger, wiser, clearer, you begin to understand why your journey had to unfold the way it did. If you had risen earlier, you might have risen unprepared. If you had stepped into visibility before your spirit was ready, you might have collapsed under the weight of it. If you had been recognized before your identity was rooted, you might have lost yourself in the noise. This visibility is not just external, it is internal. You finally see yourself. You recognize your worth. You honor your path. You embrace your power. You walk with the awareness of someone who knows They are divinely backed, and as you step forward, heaven steps forward with you. Angels walk beside you. Protection surrounds you. Purpose leads you. Glory rises upon you. You are not becoming someone new. You are finally becoming who you have always been. And now, chosen one, as this journey comes to its gentle close, breathe deeply and recognize what has unfolded within you. You did not simply read a message, you walked through a transformation, layer by layer, revelation by revelation. Your spirit rose, your vision sharpened, and your identity aligned with what heaven has always spoken over you. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are clearer. You are steadier. You are awakened. And though this script ends here, your rising does not. You are stepping into a future where your light is undeniable, where your purpose is active, where your protection is firm, and where your voice carries impact. Let this be your reminder that the journey of the chosen is eternal, unfolding, expanding, deepening day by day. If this message has touched your spirit, strengthened you, or awakened something deep within you, then stay connected to this space. Your like helps this light reach others who are still searching. Your share becomes a lifeline for someone standing at the edge of breakthrough. Your subscription anchors you to future guidance crafted for your spirit, and your comment adds your voice to a rising community of awakened souls walking together. Your journey continues. Chosen one. And the world is better because you rise.